Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Team Luis Ortiz says every other heavyweight ran like some hoes outside of Deontay Wilder. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, the channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. All the channel members who have signed up, really appreciate you. You help the channel grow in phenomenal ways, and for that I'm thankful. Now, I just watched an interview. Shout out to the Boxing Voice. I will source and link in the description so you guys yourself can check it out. Very good stuff. They were talking to Luis Ortiz at his media day in Miami, I think it was. I got the email somewhere. And there was a lot that was covered in a relatively short interview. And, you know, I definitely advise you guys to watch the video to give the Boxing Voice the credit and also the view. But I want to talk about some things. I'm just going to paraphrase here. And Team Luis Ortiz says they have the utmost respect for Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder because he was a man of his word. He fought his heart out, and he did what he said he was going to do in a land full of a heavyweight division where we don't always see that. They said that Luis Ortiz, the boogeyman of the heavyweight division, they said that he is a throwback fighter and he's down to fight anybody. And they said something that was very point blank. They said Wilder, me as his trainer, and him as a fighter have the utmost respect for Wilder because he did what he said he was going to do, and he won. You know, we want to do a trilogy. We want to do multiple fights with him because everybody else is too scared. He said everybody else ran like some hoes. So they could see, you know, if they stay winning and Wilder keeps winning, they could see like locking horns with Wilder again, the WBC champion of the world. Now, the title of the video is something to the effect of Dillian Whyte fight. There was no contact ever made for that fight. Now, I'm going to quickly recap what happened in that particular situation. So, basically, Luis Ortiz was announced for Wilder Fury. He was going to fight on that card December 1st. I don't think it had been formally announced, but it was a rumor more or less. And there was a back and forth. There was like an interview that came out with Sky Sports where Luis Ortiz was like called out, or, you know, Dillian Whyte said, "Oh, I'll knock out the old man, whoom. You know, I'll fight him." When everybody believed he was going to be fighting on the Wilder Fury card. So Luis Ortiz and his team immediately responded to major boxing websites. And what they did is they said, "Oh yeah, come fight us on that card. December 1st, we got a spot for you. Fight us on the December 1st Wilder Fury card." Dillian Whyte's side, they clapped back or responded and says, "We can't do that. We already have a date locked in and a venue locked in the UK for late December, like December 22nd or whatnot." So Luis Ortiz, you know, in an attempt to call their bluff, said, "You know what? It's good." He said, "I'll fight on December 22nd against you. Wherever you're going to, O2 Arena, I'll come to the UK to fight you. You know, I'm going to teach you to respect your elders." Right? And all of a sudden, we didn't hear anything from Eddie Hearns, really, Dillian Whyte, and they were even having problems making Derek Chisora versus Dillian Whyte too. You know, it was publicized from Eddie Hearn that, I don't know, they were far apart on the money or whatever it was, and they hadn't come to terms, but they were trying to get this fight done for December 22nd or whatnot. Then they finally pull the trigger, get it done, and announce the fight and do a press conference. Meanwhile, Luis Ortiz, you know, the fight didn't come into fruition. A bigger name with Dillian Whyte, and that's where we're at. Now, this interview confirms this too. They said we received no contact from Dillian Whyte's side. We don't know why the fight didn't happen. You could talk to his manager to see what he knows, but no one was contacted. He said the only form of contact that they had with me is they asked me, as Luis Ortiz's trainer, what do you think about your fighter? What do you think about Ortiz fighting Dillian Whyte? And he said, make the fight. We're not worried about no Dillian Whyte, so we with it. Put him in with anybody. That was my statement. And he said it never materialized. Now, I know there's going to be some back and forth and some tribalism and, people from different regions that feel different ways, but the proof is in the pudding as far as I'm concerned. And one thing that is great, absolutely great, when it comes to this new media shit, that I created along with DBN, is the truth always comes out. And when you speak the truth before the truth officially comes out, and then you have professional fighters, professional trainers, respected people in the boxing world, and they corroborate exactly what you're saying, it's lovely. And in this particular interview, Luis Ortiz's team said almost something verbatim that I have said recently and in the past in several of my videos, and it was a direct response to the fans who are fearful, because they know Luis Ortiz represents a threat. So they come up with these bullshit excuses that Luis Ortiz, he's so old. He defected from Cuba and he doesn't have a birth certificate. So we think he's 99 years old. They said in this interview almost exactly verbatim what I've been saying to that. And it's the easiest thing to say to shoot down. If he's an old man, then fight him. It's that simple. Beat his ass. Take the challenge. Fight the boogeyman. If he's no boogeyman, that's how you prove you're not afraid of a boogeyman. That's how you do it. You don't put the covers over your head and then act like, you don't hear the noises coming from the closet. If you ain't afraid of the boogeyman, what you would do is get up out the bed, put your slippers on, open the closet, and say, you know what? I don't care. Whatever happens, happen. I'm not afraid of no boogeyman. You're not going to ruin my night's sleep. That's what you do. So, it's a dead issue. If you're not afraid of the boogeyman and he's old, then dispatch of him. It's that simple. It should be easier for you to do then. But these fighters, nobody's fighting them. These promoters know better. And I really feel that Eddie Hearns, I don't know about Dillian Whyte, because he seems down to fight, but he got to push for the Luis Ortiz fight, because it's obvious somebody in his circle, his promoter or whoever, have other plans for him. And I explained what I believe is the plan. I believe that Eddie Hearns doesn't want to complicate things by putting Dillian Whyte in there with Luis King Kong Ortiz, because he knows the quality of Luis King Kong Ortiz, the style, the pizzazz. Luis Ortiz can box. He could be aggressive. He could get on his toes. He has a jab. He can punch in combination. He's a southpaw. He's not a little guy. Like, even in this interview, if you look at it, the dude looks, he's actually like the perfect size type heavyweight, pause. But he looks big. Like, he's in his shirt, he looks big. Like, in movies, a lot of times they get like Michael B. Jordan and he gets real shredded. That's not the perfect prototype body for boxing. Guys like Mike Tyson and stuff like that, those are more the prototype of like boxers, kind of like more of a compact, boxy looking shape, not fully shredded, things of that sort. Guys like Mike Tyson, that's more so not what you see in Hollywood movies like Southpaw and Creed and stuff. And that's what Luis Ortiz has. He has size, so you can't easily, he's 6'4", 240, 250. So you're not going to be able to easily move him. Plus he can box and he has intelligence. But, the prototype type of shape, he's a guy who, he just looked like he had dad strength or some shit. But that's neither here nor there. What is here is somebody other than Deontay Wilder stepping up to fight this man, and for Dillian Whyte, I think he has more here if he were to actually fight against a guy like Luis Ortiz than a guy he already beat 2 years ago in Theyre Chisora. You can say whatever, domestically it's whatever fight, but I think the UK fans, despite how loyal they are, they don't just have to see 2 UK fighters. You know, I think they still would like competition. You know, look at Usyk versus Tony Bellew. That looked like it had a good crowd, and you had a guy from the Ukraine and a guy from Liverpool. You know, so good fights are good fights. Again, I don't know how much of it Dillian Whyte, how much input he has to his own career, but I'm pretty sure my theory is this. Eddie Hearn don't want to make that because he knows that Luis Ortiz has the ability, because he's not 100% confident that he can manipulate and have things go how he envisions it when you're dealing with a wild card like Luis King Kong Ortiz. So with that being said, he would rather not risk it by putting Ortiz in there with somebody like that, you know, because I think ideally his plan is to fight Anthony Joshua. You know, if Wilder Fury doesn't fight, the winner of that fight doesn't fight Joshua because, quote unquote, they can't come to terms and agree, then guess what? You have an easy shoe-in right there. The winner of Dillian Whyte, Derek Chisora, which I thought Derek Chisora beat Dillian Whyte in the first fight. So I think it's pretty safe to say that if Dillian Whyte doesn't get knocked out, you know, he has a strong chance of winning. And if it's a close fight, I see it going towards the fresher, you know, guy who already has the win, you know, Dillian Whyte. And that's who they want to thwart and put into an AJ situation. Eddie Hearn is his own worst enemy in terms of he's constantly doing interviews. So he lets you know what the game plan is before the game plan actually comes. You know, he lets you know that Dillian Whyte is a front runner. It's like he's preparing you for it. So I don't think they want to fight the Wilder Fury winner, especially if it's Fury, because I haven't really heard much mention in a positive light. The only thing Eddie Hearn has said is that Tyson Fury is boring and he's going to get knocked out, basically. So that's my thoughts, man. Luis Ortiz is a monster, and I told you I forever support what's right in boxing. If that makes you not want to follow my channel, so be it. You know, I can only be me. And it's criminal what they do to certain fighters, the politics, the bullshit, because they'll sit up here. You'll have a fighter like Luis Ortiz, throwback, down to fight anybody. And because the powers that be and the people in suits or whoever don't want to make certain fights because they don't want it to mess up their little plans. And for that reason, it just becomes like another Cuban that nobody wanted to fight. You know, in the division, like Guillermo Rigondeaux, El Chacal Rigondeaux, nobody in this division wanted to fight him. Donaire didn't give him a rematch. You know, the guy's one division above, right? Carl Frampton, Abner Mares. Abner Mares, the team openly said, you know, they said, we don't like his style. It's boring. You know, that's all that stuff is a cop-out. You know, that's a cop-out. You can't control how your opponent fights. All you could do is prepare for them, right? And then finally, Lomachenko fought him 2 divisions up, you know, and they try to ice you out, freeze you out, starve you out, and then all the while complain that you're not fighting anybody of note, you know. But the guys of note, except for Deontay Wilder in this particular situation, aren't embracing the challenge. And the challenge is there for any mortal, for any man that wants to take it. All you got to do is say yes, like Floetry, you know, that Marsha Ambrosio. All you got to do is say yes. And the boxing fans will give. If Dillian Whyte can honestly beat Luis King Kong Ortiz, then of course, yeah, he deserves a title shot. But they'd rather put him in there with Derek Chisora. And that's evident because that's the fight we're getting, you know, on DAZN. For $9.99 a month, fans, a lot of them would prefer Luis Ortiz. But again, you could listen to old media. What they do is they're going to bend the truth, say a bunch of bullshit, and hope and pray that at the end of the day, the shit sticks to the wall. And then they can marginalize and paint Luis Ortiz and others out to be like, oh, look at his resume. Oh, he can't sell. Oh, he's old. What does old have to do? And Luis Ortiz brought up another good point. He says, first of all, I'm not like Bernard Hopkins' age. I'm 39 years old, whether you want to believe it or not, you know. But he says, look at my performances. Are my performances suffering? Can I not do my job? Am I not fighting at the elite level? And the answer to all that is yes. Joseph Parker is a former champion with the WBO at heavyweight. He fought Raz Kajanu before Luis King Kong Ortiz and struggled with him a bit. Didn't look good and went the distance with him. Luis Ortiz, I was at the fight against Robert Easter and Mikey Garcia. He was on that card at the Staples Center. Now he's going to be fighting at the Staples Centers again, where he got a great ovation from the crowd. And guess what? Luis Ortiz knocked out Raz Kajanu. Easy work. Kajanu was like playing around and trying to showboat. Luis Ortiz was not playing. Clipped him with like a beautiful 1-2, and he was out. No legs. You know? So even if you think he's older, who cares? His performances, he's not fighting like somebody who's like geriatric and all this. Let me know what you guys think, man. But we got to stop and get back to some real shit in boxing. New media is here. Shout out to Luis Ortiz. That's, like I said, I don't care if he's fighting Travis Kaufman, Ronda Rousey's husband, Travis Brown, Travis Barker from Blink 182, the drummer, you know, Travis Air Force Base. I don't care. You know why? Because other dudes clearly aren't trying to fight him. And until they do, then he has free range to fight to stay relevant and fight to stay busy, you know. Same thing with like Errol Spence. People mad at Errol Spence for fighting Mikey Garcia. Why? Mikey Garcia called him out. Beyond that, only Terrence Crawford is the only person on the other side of the fence who happens to really even be aggressively calling out Errol Spence. And I wouldn't even say aggressive, because Crawford has mentioned it, but he's like, oh yeah, tell Al to call Bob. You know, they both have said more or less the same thing. So, you know, these are the fights we're going to get until the public demands more. Let me know what you guys think. Smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego. Sign off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.